and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to introduce you to a program for veterans you may have never heard of. I know I hadn't. It's called Guitars for Vets, and it helps with healing through music. I have two guests today. Barbara Ferrer, welcome.
Thank you.
And you are a vet who's been through the program.
That's correct.
All right, and Mike Salyer, and you're one of our volunteer teachers.
That's correct.
But you're also a vet, so you've got that sort of full circle connection with this program.
That's true.
And you were in the Navy as?
A hospital corpsman. I spent 23 years in the Navy taking care of, Navy personnel. And my first experience with it was in 1968 working in Balboa, a naval hospital, with returning veterans from Vietnam. So I do have a connection.
You've seen it for a while.
Yes.
All right, Barbara, let's focus on your story a little bit. You had been deployed to Afghanistan. You were serving in the Army for how many years?
8 years.
And you had probably more than one traumatic experience, but some particular things that were lingering with you. Tell us a little bit.
Yes, back in 2009, I was deployed to Afghanistan, and we lost a fallen comrade soldier due to an enemy blast. It was not expected.
Like someone was firing, or it was a bomb?
It was a rocket. It was shaped of a rocket ship, came from the air and just came down out of nowhere from our unit, hit the MP shed, and our soldier instantly died. And the other soldier, may he also continue to rest in peace, his leg got cut off. He lost a limb. And yes, I suffer from PTSD and also major depression as well.
Now, I don't want to make you talk about it if it's really hard to talk about, but I also want people to understand that, to a lot of it, PTSD is kind of a normal reaction to a traumatic event. I mean, your body is protecting you from some of the pain and emotions, and you need some help to figure out what comes next.
Yes, indeed. And that's when Guitar for Veterans come in place, where music is so therapeutic. Not only do I want to depend on the medication and the doctors, but I need that guitar in my hand to strum the string to help me cope with my disorder. And it has impacted.
Was it hard for you to reach out for help, or were you just so incapacitated that it was like obvious? I mean, how did your own case develop?
First of all, I can't hold anything inside. If
That's good though.
Yes,
it is healthy.
Yes,
it is.
Yes, and one thing I learned being a soldier is that it's okay to ask for help when help is needed. That's the strongest part of being a soldier and a veteran and anyone.
Now, I have to say, that is not the perception from the past. And I think it is this very healthy thing that has happened to the military because of past wars. And, certainly those folks returning from Vietnam didn't feel like they could ask for help, didn't feel like that was even an option. Is that fair to say, Mike, or I could be overgeneralizing?
No, I think that's pretty true. I mean, if you're the age where you lived through, the guys coming back from Vietnam, we talked earlier that things that used to take people's lives do not anymore.
Right.
I mean,
right.
And when guys came back, when I was working at the Naval Hospital of Balboa back in 69, 70, 71, something like that, guys were coming back with limbs gone and that sort of thing, and they had no prosthetic, not like they have today, no prosthesis to help them along. And nobody talked about PTSD. Nobody talked about how difficult it was for them. The VA did as good a job as they could do, but the climate has changed.
Well, I lived with the World War II vet, and honestly,
Sure.
I don't think he started telling his stories until about 10 years ago. And my grandfather was one too, and it's a very hard thing for past generations and a sort of macho type culture for particularly men, so that's also a little, it's a hard thing to admit or to deal with.
Sure, I agree with that.
So in particular, I want to thank you for realizing, and thank the military for changing that culture so you knew to ask for help, and so there was help.
Right, and that's when Andrea Pegg, coordinator from Richmond, I love her dearly because she has really made an impact. And Guitar for Veterans, I signed up with her.
So you were in the VA center already,
yes.
And you were in for treatment.
That's right.
At that time it was in Richmond.
Right, and coming to the program, I mean, it's like I will cry during session, break down and cry, and we'll stop for a minute, and everybody, my peers, along with the instructor, we'll take a moment just to be there for me, and then, okay, it's time to pick up that guitar again, and that's like extra help there, and I'm grateful for the program.
Now, there are a lot of programs that help veterans now, and
Yes.
I think different people relate better to different things. It could be extreme mountain climbing, it could be art therapies.
Yes.
For you, music is what helped you make that connection. Has music always been a part of your life?
Always. I grew up, music has always been in my life since the age of 5 when I started going to church, and always lived around it. Not only, in the church, but CDs, cassette back then, vinyl records, and now that I could just...
Did you sing along?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
sing. I've been in gospel choirs, and just for me to pick up that instrument, now I'm using the physical part of it, which is great.
And the physical part is part of the therapy too, I suspect,
Yes,
right?
yes,
I mean,
yes.
singing gets you so much, but
yes,
having that activity.
that's correct. Even with patients who suffer from TBI, traumatic brain injury, it helps with memory.
That's what I was going to say. There's a lot of brain studies that show that music is in a different part of the brain and helps with, healing and memory, and it sticks.
That's correct.
I had a very good friend who had a stroke, and he couldn't speak, but he could still sing. I mean, there's different brain connections that we make in all kinds of different ways.
That's right.
So the program, Barbara's getting ready to tell her story, but the program officially is what? A veteran signs up, and what happens?
Basically, at the Veterans Center, they have a mechanism there where the vets can go to the recreational therapist there and put their name in for a waiting list. The recreational therapist then contacts their counselor to make sure that playing guitar and getting involved in another program fits with their therapy.
They're ready for it.
Right.
It's what.
Well, and one of the things I really want to be clear about is that I'm not a therapist.
Right.
I'm not a counselor. I'm just a guitar player. But we want to make sure that we're not interfering somehow with other, therapies they may have going on. So once they clear that hurdle of getting through the recreational therapist, that guy then contacts us and says, we have this vet that would like to be part of the program. We take them in, we try to figure out, a schedule that meets their needs, and then we begin our program and teach them how to play guitar.
And so that program is 10 weeks, 10 lessons.
10 lessons, 30 minutes at a time. And although I would say that in the 2 years that I've been doing, I've never given a 30-minute lesson. It always goes for an hour or however long it takes to get the lesson finished. But Barbara's right, though. It is about learning to play the guitar, but more than that, it's about making a human interaction and interface with another person, building your self-confidence, realizing you can finish something that you start, getting in connection with yourself a little bit and your musical side, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
So at the end, you have a graduation.
Right.
You play a song.
Take some pictures.
But the big thing is, you get a guitar.
Yeah.
You get to continue. This organization gives you a guitar.
Oh, yes.
How do you pay for that?
That's a good question. The Guitars for Vets operates in 25 states with over 200 volunteers. We've given over 20,000 lessons and given out 2,000 guitars. So that's all got to be paid for somehow. And it's all done through a donation. And it's either donation of money or it's donation of equipment. If you have a guitar that you no longer play and you would like to donate it and use it as, you can also put that on your tax.
And that's one of the things about guitars. They're very personal instruments. I mean,
Sure.
and if you can't play it anymore, it's not like it's old and used. It's broken in. It's got a history. A good instrument doesn't decrease in value.
So what happens with us is if we take an instrument that we can't use in our program, for instance, the Guitars for Vet program basically uses acoustic guitars so that we can set up anywhere and play anywhere, and it makes it very easy. But if you have, say, electric guitar, a set of drums, a synthesizer, something that you'd like to donate, we'll take that piece of equipment and then resell it. And whatever funds we get from that go into our program to buy guitars for the vets. It's a wonderful program. I'm just blessed to be part of it.
And I also want to say with this is that I want to thank each donors out there who has donated to the program so that I was able to get my guitar, because I love it. I treat it like she's my baby. I named her, and I respect my guitar. So I could continue to use it. And without the donations, we would not be able to have other veterans to be part of our team. And I would love for more veterans to be able to experience and take advantage of this program. But without donations, we are nothing.
Well, donations of cash, but also donations of time, like Mike's. I mean,
Exactly.
That's a huge,
Exactly.
huge commitment for
Thank
you
you,
to
Mike.
drive down
Thank
from
you,
York
Mike.
County to the VA once a
Right,
week,
right.
or
And
twice a week if you're coming for the jam session, too.
That's correct. That's correct. And like Mike was saying, he could have just volunteered 30 minutes, and he does more.
I think that what I would like the general public to get from this interview, if nothing else, is that this is a vast, Hampton Roads is a great place. It's huge. We have a lot of veterans. We have the Army band. We have the Navy band. We have all types of musicians in this area, and they probably don't know that this program exists. But the more instructors that we could get to volunteer their time, the more veterans we can take care of. If you have 6 veterans waiting for Guitars for Vets, if you only have one instructor, that takes a year and a half or a year and 2 months to get through it, because it's 10
And
weeks
there is a
per
waiting
person.
list, right?
Oh, yeah, there's 6 or 8 people on our waiting list.
Yeah.
And there would be more if we were more active. But so I would like to, as part of this, to ask the general public, that if you're interested, if you have a skill, if you can play guitar, you don't have to be a professional guitarist that performs. You just have to know enough to teach somebody the basics. And it's a wonderfully fulfilling way to spend your time.
So, Barbara, you really took to this. I mean, this is what clicked for you. What song did you play for your graduation?
God Bless the USA. So patriotic, where I had the audience in tears.
What are you thinking as you play? Are you thinking of your
Yes.
service, your comrade?
Yes, I think about, rest in peace, Sergeant Ramirez. I think about all the soldiers who had died and keeps dying, to protect our country, and is out there right now deployed. And I think about all the veterans who have served, who have sacrificed their time, sacrificed their time away from their family to complete the mission. And that song just means so much to me that when I play it, others feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? What other songs, or what is it? How do you feel when you're sitting there practicing or performing?
Music tends to be real fun, but at the same time it's work.
People forget that.
Yes,
I
people
think that's
forget that,
important. You said
right.
some people drop out because it is work.
Right, but
you have to practice.
Exactly,
You have to keep at
that's
it.
right. But see, once you continue to practice, and to the point where like, wow, I could do this. I didn't know I was this talented. So by me picking up the guitar as I was strumming the chords, I'm like, okay, I could do this. And that's how I continue to come to the practice. And I say to myself, okay, I'm this good. I want better. I'm gonna keep coming so I
Really?
could advance my skills.
Did it give you a confidence that you had lost?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. It has helped me develop confidence, because that's one thing that I struggle with. And I remember my instructor telling me, okay, come on, you got to be confident, because, that's one thing, they motivate us so that we could do what we're supposed to do. And it's helped me build my confidence that I'm able to speak in front of television like right now. And
Could you
perform.
see yourself doing this 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
No, I would never think I will be in this opportunity that I'm in right now, which I'm grateful for.
Do you now work with other vets? I mean, I know probably don't think you're qualified yet to be a teacher, but do you perform with other folks? Tell me about the weekly jam session.
Well, with Peg Andrea, when I was in Richmond, we would, thanks to her sacrificing time, every Fridays would jam for an hour. Like we mentioned earlier, there's times that she goes way past the hour to help us out, which that's helpful. And also when there's a concert coming up, we may feel like we need more practice. She'll volunteer more of her time throughout the week So we'll catch up and sound great for our activities or events coming up.
So now that you're down here, do you work with the Hampton VA or do you still go back to Richmond? Because that's where you're...
Oh no, that's a great question. Right now I'm with Mike. I do miss Peg and Drea, but the good thing about it is the same organization, and we'll still keep it.
Wherever you go,
yes,
you can find a chapter or start a chapter.
That's right.
If there isn't one.
And she has not forgotten about me. I'm still considered like her student. She's like my instructor. So we still keep in touch with each other, and
now
she guides me.
You mentioned concerts. Do you perform? Do you do benefits? Do you either perform for veterans for their healing or try to raise money for the program?
Oh yes, we have done holiday concerts. Also, we've been to the nursing home at the VA in Richmond. We perform for, like you said, benefit concert. We've been on the news, Channel 8 News, and with Amy. We've been around.
That's great.
Right.
That's great.
And we also been to, on Veterans Day, we went to a church in the country. I'm sorry, I don't recall the name.
That's okay.
But yes, it was great that we're able to perform for other veterans as well. All the veterans got together from the local church, and we talked about our organization. So we've been busy out there.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is there anything you guys want to add before we close?
I just want to say thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Yes. And while you're here, thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for your continued volunteer work and helping those other folks who have served who need some additional healing right now. I
would say that if you're watching this, volunteering your time to help another human being is probably more fulfilling than you realize, that anyone can actually realize. If you haven't ever done it, do it. Just take the dive, go out and do it a little bit, and you don't have to do it. If you do it and you find you don't like it, that's fine. But I think it'll change your life.
Wonderful.
So I'm glad to be part of it.
Well, service has been a part of your life for a very long time, and it still is. And that is something that our service members bring to Hampton Roads that a lot of communities don't have, is really that tradition of giving for others. Well, thank you. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned about a really beneficial new program. And if you have an instrument or some time or some cash to give, contact them because they would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love you.